I think there's lots of problems. I think we're facing ecological catastrophe if we carry on using the world's resources the way that we are. I think the rise of the military-industrial complex in governments, in major governments in the world is a problem. But I think the biggest problem facing the world is intolerance. Intolerance of other people because of their gender, intolerance of other people because of their sexuality, because of their race, because of their religion. And I think we see this all over the world.
The main concern at the moment is that the wars that America and Britain are conducting in Iraq and Afghanistan and the threats they're making against Iran.
The biggest problem facing the world, I think, today is separation and loneliness.
One of the biggest problems is religion. Not religion itself, it's the people who use religion.
I think the biggest problem facing the world is probably just the fact that people don't treat each other like they should do. The second someone's a stranger to you, you don't treat them like you would your family or friends. And there's no reason for that, really.
Looking ahead 50 years, global warming, unquestionably. Climate change, because it will have an impact not just on the Earth, it will have a tremendous impact on international politics.
Being a devout Christian, I do believe there's good and there's also evil in this world, which is not really recognised by most people and just thought as sort of fanciful superstition. So I do believe in evil.
I think intolerance and bigotry.
Yeah.
And a lack of understanding of each other's cultures, faiths and so forth.
I think it'd have to be world poverty and unequal distribution of wealth.
All striving for a better world, and I've got a faith in humanity.
I think probably the greatest inspiration of my generation, certainly for me, has been Nelson Mandela, a man who I have just the utmost regard for.
I think probably children are kind of inspiring. I think children are the one set of people that don't really behave the way I just spoke about, you know? Children do treat everyone the same, and they would treat someone as a friend even though they're a stranger. And I think that's something we can learn from.
My church, I expect, yes, my church, and reading the Bible.
Two people really. Mahatma Gandhi always has done, because he effected change without actually harming anyone. You can't change people's mind by hitting them with sticks. All you do is you make them angry. And the other person is Leon Trotsky and his group of socialists who believed that if you work for the common good, then people will work.
I'm a Christian, so I'm a firm believer that it's God's creation, that we're stewards of creation, so we have a responsibility to be good gardeners. Simple as that, really.
Anyone which is human, which is any person who is human, who believes non-violent protest.
The Bible is fairly clear about our stewardship of the world and the responsibilities humans have for their own lives and for those of others.
I find the Dalai Lama a very inspirational figure. I'm not a Buddhist, but I find his sort of teachings of peace, love and compassion very uplifting, and I think if we all adopted that, we'd do better.
Somebody who's started up a charity. I think the founder of Islamic Relief has gone from something very, very small to being a real focus point for Muslims who want to pay their annual welfare tax, and I think he has made a lot of difference to a lot of lives in the world.
Well, not so much who, but like our children are going to end up, living on this planet, and we're currently wrecking it.
I'm the local organiser of the Stop the War Coalition, and I organised against the Falklands War, against the First Gulf War, and I organised against the war in Vietnam.
I shop at charity shops actually, and like Oxfam and Cancer Research to help people that need support.
Well, I spend a lot of my time collecting money for charity, as I'm doing at the moment, a charity called Skip, based here in Swansea. And also at the moment I'm studying medicine, hoping to become a doctor. I'd like to work for a kind of foreign aid organisation that treats people that can't normally afford doctors.
Well, I try to do missionary work And I work in the London Temple sometimes, trying to help people trace their families.
Personally, I'm a member of a socialist political party. I give money to charity where I can, when I can afford it, and I do anything that I can to help when people ask.
I personally am the chairperson of Swansea University Students' Union Amnesty Society.
I try to do my bit with recycling. I'm a local clergyman, so I often preach on the issue. I've occasionally appeared on BBC radio programs, and when they touch on justice issues, as I debated Trident last year around this time, I think it was, I try to make an impact that way as a local church leader.
Prayer is a good start. I give in simple ways whenever I can, giving to charity, helping people. If I feel God is suggesting I do something for someone, give them money or pray for them or help them or talk to them, I do that.
I obviously recycle. I don't run my water too much. I don't do things like, using energy too much.
Well, I'm a practicing Christian, and I try and live by the teachings of Christ, and make sure that I try and hold my hand out to others and do whatever I can for anybody that needs some form of help.
I use public transport, I don't have a car. I use energy saving light bulbs.
I try to keep to the tenets of Islam as much as I can, specifically in relation to the poverty, just paying the zakat payment every year.
Yeah, to give people confidence in their own ideas, essentially.
I think I'd like to become far more active in campaigning on behalf of individual people, asylum seekers for instance, who are facing deprivation and persecution because of their decision to come to this country.
Teach, and train others to follow the same line that you're doing. Yes.
Oh, well, there's always more that you can do, isn't there? I could probably spend less money on myself and give more money to charity myself. And also I could probably practice what I preach and treat strangers a bit better than I do. I'm sure there's times when I treat people colder than I should do.
I think we need to make sure that other people we talk to are as informed as we like to try to be, and to try to urge them to take action. We can vote as best we can in elections. We can write to our members of parliament. We can blog if we're into IT, that sort of thing. Communication.
I don't know, to witness, I feel. God is real, and to help people to find that, because He's the only real solution to the world's problems.
Probably recycle a bit more than I do. Yeah. Do a little bit, but maybe not as naff.
You can obviously spend more money on giving away in charity. I think that has to be effective though, so probably orphan sponsorship would be the next step, I suppose.
Yeah, I could get a lot less angry with people. I read the news or I listen to the television and I get cross. Things wind me up. I hear people standing on street corners shouting, you should hate these people because they're a different colour or because they haven't lived their X number of generations or whatever. And it makes me angry. And I become as guilty as being intransigent as everyone else at that point. You set your heels.
The old saying is true, better to light a candle than curse the darkness.